Boys, part 2 is here.
Oh shit!
Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Zulu here, back at it again with another Fortnite creative tutorial. On this video, you guys have been waiting for it. This is going to be part 2 on how to build your superpower box PvP map. Now, let's get right on into it. Where we left off, this was the box. The first thing you're going to want to do, go to your inventory, and you're going to search up in devices, player spawners. Click it, click place now. I recommend placing them in one in every single corner, and then you kind of like spread it out. I kind of made it equal, and then you put 4 in the middle. So something like this. I have a total of 16 players on my map. Say if you have 12 players, put down 12 spawn pads. But since I have 16 in my map, I put down 16 spawn pads. The settings for these spawn pads is you're going to want to have it enabled during phase, put it on gameplay only. Player team, any. Player class, any. And then visible in game, turn it off. Yo boys, I just realized while editing this video, I forgot to mention a key step for these player spawn pads. What you're going to want to do is when you get to that step and you finish the random number generator, go back to these spawn pads and go to events, on player spawns and event 2, click the random number generator and then click activate. Make sure all the spawners have this and then you should be good. After that, the next step is going to be the barriers. Go to your inventory again, go to creative, devices, and you're going to search up barriers. Barrier device, you click on it, click place now. I also recommend the grid snap, change it to 2. This will kind of like lock it in, it will place properly. The customized settings for this one, you're going to want to make the barrier material as invisible. Barrier height, 2 tiles, and then shrink to allow building, on. And then what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to place down a timer device. Once again, you just go to your devices, search up timer, place it down. You're going to customize this. The duration, you can make it 5 seconds, you can make it 3 seconds. For me, I prefer 3 seconds. Timer name, barrier drops in, start at game start, on. Time color, just do it white. Or you can make this will basically be like the text that's on your screen. And then timer running text, just copy whatever your timer name is. After that, you're going to want to go and you're going to want to place a trigger down, okay? This trigger is going to basically activate it on game start. For this trigger, you're going to want to go all the way to the end in events. You're going to click on trigger, it's an event 2. You're going to click add. You click on your timer device, and then you're going to click select function, and you're going to click start. It should be at the very top. On game start, it's going to supposedly send a trigger over to the timer device, which obviously enables this. Is you'll go over to your barrier that you placed down, click on it, and for functions, you're going to click enable when receiving from, timer device, on success, and then disable when receiving from, timer device, on failure. And then what you'll do is you'll just copy and paste these, and you're gonna place these just all around your player spawners. So something like this, all right? So when you're right here, you're fully blocked in. Once the timer goes to 0, these will disappear, okay? Now, for your storm, for box fights, it's super simple. Place down a basic storm controller, which is once again in your devices. Storm, you'll see basic storm controller. Place this down. Customize this. Generate storm on game start. Yes. Initial radius, I just set it to 50. Final radius, make it 0 so it fully closes. Wait time, we'll say maybe like 30-second wait time. And then your resize time, a minute. Damage level, 10% damage is basically how much people usually do. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over, we're going to do the loadouts like the power-ups and stuff like that. The first thing you're going to want to place down is a random number generator. Go ahead and customize it. You're going to keep your winning value 1 the same. Change your value limit 2 to however many players or like power-ups you have in your map. So if you have 12 players in your map, put it to number 12. But for me, once again, I have 16 players that can join this map. So I'll put it to 16. Winning value, put that as none. Your roll time, instant. For pick each number once, you're going to change that to yes, but reset on round start. Not reset on game start, reset on round start. This is very important. Zone direction, just make it whatever direction you want to put your stuff. Doesn't really matter. Mine's left. It's just whatever direction this blue area is going in, so it doesn't matter. Just make it whatever way you want to do it. You'll just have to put the stuff in the right spots and just line it up properly. And then for your length, you'll make it the same as your value limit 2. That's very important. And then play audio, just turn it off so it doesn't play the audio. You're good. Now, what you'll do, place down a trigger, and for this trigger, the only things you're going to want to change is triggered by player, off, triggered by vehicles, off, triggered by water, off, trigger VFX, off, trigger SFX, off, and then receive damage when invisible, take damage. Pretty simple enough. Make sure this trigger is inside of this blue area. Now moving on, you're going to have a HUD message device. It's going to display whatever power-up you are. Now, you don't really need to customize this if you are using UEFN and you plan on putting pictures instead of this text, but this text basically is an alternative. Instead of using pictures, which is only capable in UEFN, I'll say this one's flying, and then text color, just white, whatever. And then for your class selector, Only thing you're really going to want to change is class to switch to. Make this class 1 because it's the first power up. Activation audio off, zone audio off. Okay? Now the class designer is where it really matters. This is how you basically make your power-ups. This class designer device is very OP. It's a very cool device, okay? You'll click on this. Class name, I guess it's flying, and its class identifier. Put it as 1. This is your number 1 power-up, so it's going to be, this is all going to be linked to number 1. Now, the fun part, the power-ups. You guys can see there's a whole bunch of options. You guys see right here, you can change anything. You can change max health, health recharge, max shields, overshield, movement multiplier, so basically speeding up, or you can make your player slow down, instant reload, infinite ammo, gravity, you can make this low gravity, flight. I'm gonna do this because this one was for the flying ability, so I'll turn this on. So that's player flight. Now if you are, if the random number generator picks flying as my thing, then I will be able to fly on game start. And then there's just some other stuff like glider redeploy, and then harvest multiplier, and just stuff like that, you know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go over to your trigger that you place on, your very first trigger. Now everything in the number 1 slot is going to be coordinated to number 1, okay? So I'll click add, I'll click select function, and I'll click HUD message device and then show. That basically will mean that it's going to be showing the text on my screen from this thing right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go click add, and we're going to click class selector. So that's class selector 1, and then it's going to be change player to class. Now what we need to do is you'll just copy this basically, however many slots you have. Like I said, if you have 12 players as your max players, put down a total of 12 of these. But since I have 16, I'll go ahead and I'll place 16 of these down. As you guys can see, this is trigger 2. So now everything in this slot is going to be coordinated as number 2, and you can completely design a different power up, okay? You're going to want to copy all this stuff right here. So let's get this, copy it, I'll drag it over. Now everything in here is going to be number 2, except in here now, you'll go to your trigger and only allow the ones that are number 2, because this is all going to be coordinated to number 2. So make sure there's no number 1, and there's only number 2s for this trigger now. You'll go and change your class selector to class 2. You'll change class identifier on your class designer to number 2. Change the name to whatever one you want. I'll say instant reload. You'll change your HUD message device, instant reload, so now this one will be instant reload. You're going to want to change your class designer. You'll go to customize player flight, turn this off because this is a whole different ability. You do not want flight. You'll go back to all options, you'll find instant reload, and you'll turn it on. So right now we have our first power up, which is our flying, and then we have our second power up, which is instant reload. Alright boys, now if you guys are wanting to know how to do like a damage booster power up, so like a 2 times damage as example, copy the trigger, the same settings, copy all your devices from previously, and then you'll just do a damage amplifier. Obviously make sure when you go to your class designer and you go to your modified options, make sure that there's no other power-ups enabled. You're gonna click infinite effect duration, put it on yes. Ambient audio, turn it off. This right here, your damage multiplier, put whatever multiplier you want on it. I recommend putting it on 2 times so it's not too overpowered, but you can lower it a bit to 1.75. It's just personal preference that really ties in here. You'll go over to functions, pick up when receiving from, trigger 3, or whatever trigger it's connected to, and then on triggered. Also just a reminder, make sure you go to all your stuff and you can edit the text for these ones. Just make sure it's all connected together. Now for an item granter power up, you're gonna place down an item granter. The item granter, for me, I'll just say I'll just give him like a chug cannon. So right there, chug cannon goes right into the item granter. You'll customize it, receiving players, make sure it's triggering player, and then grant all items. You can do multiple items, it doesn't really matter, but with all items, it will just grant all the items that are on there. You're gonna go to your functions, and you're gonna do grant item when receiving from, whatever column it's in. For me, it's number 4, so it's gonna be trigger 4, and that's gonna be that power up. And then also another one that I'm gonna show you guys is how to do aimbot. You're gonna wanna put down a customized control third person. It should be the very first thing that pops up, control third person. Place that down. Now this is all personal preference, whatever you wanna do. You can leave it on the default settings, which what it looks like, something like this, and it should just lock onto your opponents. And the settings you're going to change is you're going to want to add to player when receiving from, whatever column it's in. So this is in column 5, it will be trigger 5. This is also a very important thing. You need to remove from player, you need to do every other trigger. So every other power up, this will not affect them. And you basically can do that until you have like 16 different power ups. Now once again, you're going to go to your inventory, creative devices. This time you're going to select team settings and inventory. Just click place now. This is basically going to be whatever guns all the teams spawn with, as like the default guns, which is usually a pump, an AR, minis, and a fish, and then obviously mats and stuff. Drop whatever weapons you want to spawn with. This is going to be the weapons that everybody in the map spawns with at the start. And now as you guys can see, there should be holograms of the items that you dropped. And as you guys can see, all the teams So this is going to give it to every single team, and that's pretty much it. Now finally what we're going to do is we're going to do the actual map settings, like the actual creative settings for this map. So just click escape or your options button, go to my island. For game, max players, for me it's going to be 16. Voice chat should be, I guess, maybe all. Teams, free for all. Team size, dynamic. Spawn limit, it's going to be 1 spawn limit. After last spawn, go to spectating. Total rounds, this is going to be however many rounds you want to have in your box for map. I'll just say maybe like 100 round. Time limit, do no time limit. Last man standing ends game, turn that on. Going in progress, spectate. Spawn location, spawn pads. Now you're going to go to settings. You're going to change starting shield percentage, 100% shield, and make it 100 shields. Infinite building materials off, maximum building resources, turn this on to 500. Eliminated players' items drop, allow item drop, yes. Allow item pickup, yes. Fall damage is going to be off, gravity is going to be normal. Allow mantling, yes. Allow sprinting, turn that on. Allow sliding, turn that on. Make your flight speed a little bit faster. I would recommend putting it to maybe like 1.5, so the person that has the flying ability isn't flying so slow. This doesn't really mean anything. This only really affects the person that gets that ability, so you're not making everybody be able to fly with this. Health granted on elimination, you can go ahead and change this to 50 if you want siphon in your map. If you don't want siphon or anything, then you don't need to do that. And over here in UI, you can do game score display time, put that to 3. If you want it to be quick, you can either do 3 or 5 seconds. It's basically just going to be the time between the rounds, so make them all whatever you want that to be. And then you can basically just customize all this other stuff, like tiebreakers, make it whatever you want. Eliminations is a big one. Health is another one you could do. Score if you want, and then time alive is also a key one too. You can also customize a victory call out, whatever. Basically, if you win the game or if you lose the game, there will be a message on the screen. That's what you're customizing. And then yeah, you should be pretty much good. Guys, go have fun, and I really hope that this tutorial helped you guys on making your superhero box fight map. I want to give you guys a huge thank you for surpassing 1,000 subscribers. That was actually a big deal to me because I'm going to get my own code and stuff. I'll start making maps. And yeah, we can see what we can do, guys. If you guys do enjoy my content, please make sure to like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. I'll see you guys all in the next video. I'm out. Peace.